Yes, so let's start with the next part of the tutorial, which is finding things. So let's go to the menu. So we did the moving around and looking at things, and now we're gonna look at how to find things using the terminal. What we will try to answer is how we can find files in like folders which contain lots of different things, but also how we can find contents in files. So let's say you're looking for some word and you really don't remember which file that was in, how to find what file that was in. Just a second. And the main commands that we will learn is the command grep and find. Okay, so we'll do see how long the demo and teaching takes, but the aim is to have 15 minutes for going through the material and then exercise in the end 15 minutes. And again, for following along, if you want to type along now, there is this material that you can download. You will need it for the exercise later on, but you can get it now if you want. And here you can just use the this copy icon, because you see the commands here are, there's no $ in the end, so it will actually be correct if you click the copy command here and paste into your clipboard. So you're welcome to do that. That will download the material as it was Sabri explained earlier. So let me do that. I'll copy here and I'll go to I've already logged in now, and I have made myself a folder here for this tutorial. Currently it's empty, as you see, with the ls command. So let me do command V for pasting all the commands in the terminal, and then I press enter. This will execute all those 3 commands at once, and then you see quite a lot of output. It's unzipping or decompressing the folder that was downloaded. Now if I do ls to check what I have, you see that I have now a folder called finding things. Okay, so that's where I want to be. I want to be here in my yes, yes, I'll just go in there. Actually, this is a bit confusing for you because I had prepared a folder where I wanted to be in, but then the commands actually put it in my home folder instead. But that's okay. I'm just here now in my home folder, as you will be. Okay, so let's start with the material. So now you should have a folder name called Finding Things. As you see here in my terminal, I have the folder Finding Things. And that contains lots of stuff that we will use in this demonstration and in the exercises. And we'll try to find different things, different files in this in these folders. And the first thing we want to try is to find a file called output.txt. So it's supposed to be in this folder, but we don't know really where, if it's in the main folder or if it's in the subfolder or where it is. And what we will use is this tool called find. We call it a tool, it's a command, it's a little piece of software written, and this is the name of the command or the tool, find. And the syntax is pretty straightforward. So you write find, which is the command. You need to tell where to start. So in what folder you will start. And then there are options that we will learn a bit more about. And again, remember that if you want to learn more about commands that we're using, the main way to do that is to use the manual pages, man find. So if I do that, man find here, you will, my window is a bit small. Let me try to expand that a bit. So then you press enter to scroll down here. You get the description, options, and yeah, so on. So we won't go through all that. It's just to remind you of the man pages. So let me press Q for quit to get out.
So Michael, fortunately, the command makes sense. We don't get Unix commands very intuitive. This find command find things, so that's very
find
nice.
is very intuitive. Yes. Sometimes commands are not intuitive. Okay, so then let's go on and find a file based on the file name. So this is the command that we will do now. So we do find, and then we get the starting point, and the starting point will be the folder finding things. And I will use tab in order to not have to print out the whole or type the whole name, because I know that I'm in the, it will find this, tab will autocomplete for me the name, so I don't have to write the whole string. And then I will use the option that is new now that we will learn, which is dash name. That's an option for find, and then a space, and then the file that I want to find, the name of the file that I want to find. And here it doesn't work with the tab autocomplete, because this file is actually not here where I'm searching. So here I have to type the full name, output.txt, and then I press enter. And you see, we got a result here. And in this case, the result looks like what we can see on the screen, both in the web page here and on the terminal here. And it tells us that we are in the this file exists in the subfolder godcjr.bw, very weird folder name, but that's where we found the file. So that means we successfully found that file. Okay, so sometimes we don't remember if we wrote the file name with capitals or lowercase characters. And there's a way to search for the file no matter what, and that's by using the iname option. And I is ignore case. So in Unix systems, the case is important. So a file which is called, let me write here, output.txt with a capital O, it's a different file than output.txt. So these two would be two different files. So let me now copy this command. And I paste it into my terminal. So unfortunately here, if you press this copy command here, it will actually copy this $sign also. So that's a bit unfortunate. It's to show you that this is something that you're supposed to type on the terminal. And then the copy would give you this $, and it would give you an error, actually. I can show you how that works if you did that. Let me just remove what I had here. So let me use this copy command here, and I copy. You see there's a $, here. If I press enter, you will see bash $command not found. So unfortunately, we'll have to just mark it and copy it like this in the command. Okay. So now let's see how that looks. Okay, so now you see we find two files. The first one, output.txt, is the one that we found before, and then a second one, which is in another subfolder of a subfolder even, with capitals, output.txt. Good. So we found then all files currently that had were called output.txt with any capitalization. It would also find any other combinations of capitals and lowercase files here. Okay, so next very common thing is that we want to search a file. We forgot the name, but we remember what type of file it is. So in this case, it's a CSV file. There's Sabri already showed you a bit about the asterisks. So one convenient way of telling the system, okay, I know part of what I'm looking for, but not everything, is to use an asterisk like this sign, an asterisk. And what that means is that it means that there can be 0 or any more or any number of characters replacing that asterisk. And then there's also another one which we won't use right now, but it's the question mark. And the question mark that says that there can be any single character. So these are two convenient symbols to use if you're looking for files. So now let's try to search for files which have the extension CSV. And notice that there are quotes here. And that's needed because we have to make sure that the search, I'm actually not sure how to formulate this properly, but it's in order for the expansion of the search to work properly and not yes, help me here. I don't manage to formulate it properly.
Well, what was your formulation, Michael?
It wasn't formulated properly. It's just I said it's in order to let it expand at the proper place, but I can't remember now what the proper place is, if it's for the find or for the search, or yes. We can try both. I think in this case it will work without. Yes, it would work without. But in some cases, it will require the quotes in order to make sure that kind of the program doesn't already fill in the blank spaces before you're ready for it to do it.
So the recommended practice, Michael, is to use the quotation, because some terminals might interpret it differently. So if you have quotations, it's safer. Yes.
Good. So when you have these stars or question marks, or this way, this incomplete strings here, add the quotes to be safe. Okay, so yes, so from that output we found lots of files. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 files. And yes, so that worked. It was a good way to find all files here in the folder finding things with the extension CSV. And we also use the ignore case, iname, here to ignore the case. But in this this example, actually, there were no files with capitalized characters, so it didn't make a difference for us in this case. Okay, so next thing. Okay. So you can also use find to look for not only the names, but other attributes of the file, like, for example, the size, when it was accessed last, and so on. Just a second. Yes. So to do that, we will first start by creating an empty file. So I'll copy this command here and paste it. And touch basically just means create an empty file. It's kind of touches the file, makes it exist. And I press enter. And if I do now ls finding things and then new file tab here, you see it exists. I just write Control-C for getting out of that command. Now what I want to do is find files that are depending on the modification time. So I want to find files that are I guess newer than 10 minutes old. So let's copy this command. And I, in my case, only get back the folder, finding things, and the new file that I created. So the rest of the stuff inside here was created or modified maybe longer time ago. Yesterday when I tried this, I got another result because I had downloaded things at a different time, and there were more files that followed this criteria. So the output will depend a little bit on when you extracted the files and when you created the files. So that would give me all files and folders that were modified less than 10 minutes ago. Okay, so you can also do...
excuse me, Michael.
Yes.
So now we are sort of have an idea of the find command, and we are giving more details about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we can move to the further a little bit down? So
yes, I'm using too much time, maybe. Yes, let's continue.
Yes.
Yes. Very good. So let's see. Should we go for the grep? So yeah. So this is just different ways of combining attributes. So let's go for the next command, and we try to now look at how to find contents inside files. So first of all, let's try to find a file called genelist.tsv. So I use quotes here. You can do that just to be safe. Okay, so we found out that this file exists in the Finding Things folder. Now, what we want to do with this is to look inside the file. There's different commands that already actually were shown earlier by Sabri. For example, the head command. The head command, it looks at the top of the file and you can specify the number of lines you want. And here we specified 5 lines. So I copy this command and I will see the first 5 lines in this file. So this is how it looks like. It has a header here, and then it has 4 lines under that. So that's a convenient way of looking at the top of the file. But let's say we don't really just want to look at the top. We want to find an exact word inside the file. And for that, we can use grep. If grep stands for something obvious, I have no idea, but that's the word, that's the command that we use. And it might have a logical name like head or tail, but not necessarily. So this is possibly an example of those commands that doesn't make sense, or maybe it does. We could find out later. I've forgotten. So grep is the command, and here we're saying, okay, I want to search for the string rat. And where do I want to search for it? Yes, I want to search for it in the file, which is in the finding things folder. So I press enter. And then there seems to be only one place where the string rat is found in this file. But you see that it hits both the string here at the end rat, which is the name, but also, you know, when it's part of a longer word. So that's good. Again, you can use the -i option. So for ignoring case, it's the same as the I name, kind of the I in the name for the find. Let's copy that command and we will try to see if there's other instances of rat, but with a different capitalization. And yes, there is indeed. There's this other line here. So how many minutes do I have left, or have I gone over time now?
We have gone over a little bit over time, but that was my mistake. I took 5 minutes as well. But I think now we have good understanding of find and grep.
Yeah.
At least some understanding. Maybe we can go and explain the exercises so we can spend more time there.
Exactly. So just look here in the examples and you'll find more options, line number and context and so on for looking a bit better inside the file and knowing where things are. Okay, so for the exercises, there are 5 exercises, and again, you can expand here for the solution if you get want to check your results. So yes, so here we also want to find a figure in the folder, and we know the file name of the figure. It's graph.jpg. But we only want to look for the file in the subfolder experiment and further along in those subfolders. I actually didn't talk about the -r option, so that can be convenient here. So look in the material and see if you find something about the -r, which is recursive. Actually, in find, you might actually not need that. So that's a good point. Number 2. Okay, so we know that there was some image, but we don't remember what format it was. How could you find a file which you know is called plot, but you don't remember if it was JPG, BMP, or PNG, or whatever? So how do you search for that? And here the asterisk will come in handy. Then the next is to find a file depending on the attributes. So we remember that it was larger than 500 kilobytes. So try to use your the attributes of find to search for this file. The next one, there's a string inside a file. And you should look for that in the genelist TSV file. And then the next is that there was also somewhere else where this string, this gene here, is in the contents, file contents. So try to find what other file that was.
Mikey,
okay, so we can go now.
So we have exercise until 11.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do the exercises, and good luck.